of root and bond language that gives the association of the cross, this cross, in the crisis. It's a very, very big story, this one, but anyway. So 2,000 years ago, we get this Christ story, which we still are suffering from today. The Christians, they're going to take over the information system, this Catholic. Before, what we call pagan people in English, in root language they call it hedning. In the bond language they call it pa'akana. In English we call it pagan, and the word pagan comes from the word pagani. Pagan. Pa is the Papa, and this is his gan. We come from the gan of Papa, like the word Ganesh. So anybody who's speaking pro means for, you're pro or you're con. Anybody who's speaking pro-pagan or speaking propaganda. Today, everything I've said is propaganda. It's pro-pagan. I'm for the pagan people. The pagan people are the nature people. What we call alternative, or English alternative. What is our alternative? What is our alternative to the way we live this today? If we can all alter, change over to a native way of living, this is called the alternative. We alter to a native way. And this story is about how we lived in a native way. The Hawaiian was native. The Red Indian was native. All people on this planet were all native at one time. And we all had altar before. We were all offering to this father and this mother in one altar. The Red Indians had something called toe temple. The toe temple, the totem pole. Toe temple. The Hawaiians have something called heiau. In the middle of the heiau was one altar. They were also offering to their All-Father. So a long time ago, these nature people, they also had names for God. Everybody has a name for God. But then comes this Catholic who says nobody else can use the word except for us. 1,500 years ago, we get another guy, Muhammad. I'm not going to say so much about Muhammad. I don't know so much about him. But these people are very sensitive. I don't want to get some kind of Muslims. I like these Muslims very, very much. Of the three religions, I think that these are the best. But they're all making much, much problem for everybody on the planet in the name of their God. If you don't believe in Jesus, we'll kill you. If you don't believe in Muhammad, we'll kill you. So these God people today, I will be nice to see one planet without the God people. The good people, good inside. The year 987, this church now, these two mythology, these two people, the Greek and the Roman, they've split. They made two arms. One's called Greek Orthodox, one's called Roman Catholic. And this Greek Orthodox is going to come up to Russia. And this Roman Catholic's going to come up the other way. By 100, this Catholic church is in England. And as this church comes into your land, into France, your pagan king cannot be pagan and king anymore because Jesus is the king. So now they get a church king. He comes into England, the English pagan king, he cannot be king anymore because Jesus is the king. So now you have to make one church king. So now all the kings that we read about in the books today, they're all church kings. There are no written stories about the pagan kings from before. 987, the Greek church comes into Russia. In 1008, the Roman Catholics come into Sweden. And there's just one little country in between called hell, called Finland, or Vinland before, Vinland. And they know, these Asser people know, that the third Ragnarok is about to happen. The third destruction. In 1008, 1047, they get a pope from Saxon, from Germany. 1048, they get another one. He's called Leo the Ninth. And this pope, he hires 30,000 mercenary killers, army from what we call Helvetia, which is Switzerland today. And the Vatican pays these 30,000 men gold to go kill everybody in Finland, to destroy hell. They've already put in their book, hell was the worst place. But hell is where we come from, and hell was the real Holy Land. But now this Catholic Church, they want to take over the information system with their new Jesus story. On the 24th of July, in the year 1050, that's why this saga comes out the 24th of July. It's what we call Ragnarok Day. This planet flipped over. All these Ragnaroks happen on this same day. There's 30,000 men, they left from Sweden. They went to an island called Åland, and they killed everybody on this island. And then these 30,000 men went to where Helsinki is, where hell was before. And there they make a ring around hell, and these 30,000 men come to the center, and they burn and kill, and they destroy hell. They destroyed Rasapuri, the castle. They looked for this temple, but they had sealed this temple up in 987. And they said that the member of this family who was alive in 1,000 years should open this temple. So 1987, me and a group of people, we all met with Eeyore. He was this last 1,000 year, and he told us about this temple, this Lemminkainen temple, this Jehovah system, where all these riches, beautiful things, handicrafts that people had been storing for millions of years. And the church looked for this, but they didn't find it. There's a whole story about how they covered this thing up. It was incredible how they, that's a whole temple story. Before this church came in and killed everybody, cut all of our family trees down, burned everything. This Bach family, they left. They went into exile. 5 minutes. But before they left, they buried 2 golden statues, life-size golden goats. I think around 280 kilos apiece, solid gold. And some crystal balls, some quartz crystal balls with prisms, very special ones. One from when the planet was like this, one from when it's flipped over, and one for the future. We're getting ready to flip back. That's why the ice is melting off right now. The pole is getting ready to shift. And this whole ball would be banana, papaya, coconut. The word eternity in root language is called everhet, which means forever warm, which means this planet will be forever. In this story, the sun is forever. The moon will always be there, and this planet hasn't always been here, but it will always be here. In the human being, the race of human beings, we will be forever. We are not a mistake. We just have to get back online again. That's why they kept this story, so we can figure out how to get back. We lost our way. This family, they buried these things in a place near called Tuna, about 80 kilometers to the west of Helsinki. Still today, there's a hill, what they call one Offerlunden, where people used to offer sperm for the father's head. And there they buried these things in the ground, a bunch of different artifacts from hell. They planted 3 little oak trees. Today there's still 2 of these oaks. They cut the middle one down. I was just there a few months ago. But it's on church property, and the church won't let us dig it up. And this family, they went into exile. They ran out before this destruction, before this church got there. All the rest of the Asa were killed, except for a few of the men swam out to these islands, to the archipelago in front. And there they stayed until 1066, and they used them for rowers for this Battle of Hastings. But in 1050, the church came and destroyed hell, the oldest information system on the planet. They destroyed the Holy Land. This family, they ran up into the north of Finland to a place called Korvatuntri. And there this Bach in hell, he used to have a cart with 8 goats that used to pull him. But up in the north, these goats couldn't go through the ice. So there he got 8 reindeer. And he became this Father Christmas story. So for between 1050 and 1250, there was a whole Father Christmas story going on in the north. Down a little bit south, there's a river called the Kajaani River, and in the middle of this river there was a little island, and there they built one castle where this Ra and Maya, where they... Thanks for coming. And there this king and queen, they lived into the year 1248, 1250. In 1250, they met with the Swedish king. And the Swedish king came over, and they shook hands with the Bach family and said that you can come back to South Finland, but you can never say anything that you were the king and the queen of Finland. So Finland at this time went under the Swedish king. And still today, the Finnish people have no idea that they have one king and one queen. The king, he represents the moon. And in Van language, the moon is called Ku. And he is the As king. He is the king of the As. We're all Askin, this Askin. So he's called Kuning As. He represents Ku, the moon. He is the As. And the queen, she also represents Ku, the moon. And she's the Tar. The Tar are the females. And she's called Kuningatar.